ego. Now, how does the personality that is free of these egoic manifestation look like? Okay, I want to give you some attributes. The first one is that this person is organically disciplined. Okay, the guy who is pure Shakti is often, quite often there's no discipline and there's too much impulsivity and all of that. The guy who is pure Shiva, there is too much discipline and then correct diet and correct regimens and too hard on yourself. And typically what Shiva was, that is an archetype, right? So this guy who goes beyond this ego, he will be organically disciplined. He will be naturally disciplined. He would want to do the right things. He's not doing them because it is the correct thing to do, but he is doing them because the intuition takes him there in every moment. He doesn't do it right because it is traditionally told to be right or some expert considers it right, but he has just loosened up enough and he has allowed his inner self and his inner voice to take over, that the inner self and the inner voice only takes him to the healthier, the wholesome options of life, or the productive choices of life, or the beneficial people. So this person has an organic sense of right and wrong instead of the disciplined or the traditional sense of right and wrong. And he is in an organic discipline of his own, and he is not against discipline also. He says that in order to balance happiness and growth, I am for it, just that it has to come from within, and it keeps coming from within. That is when, see, a person who is highly disciplined is as much in the ego trap as a person who is highly impulsive. You understand? It seems like the impulsive person is in the ego trap and the disciplined person is as much in the ego trap. That army general is also in the ego trap only, na? And this impulsive person ki jo kuch bhi bina kuch bhi soche samjhe spontaneity ke naam pe kuch bhi karte rehta hai, and he just gives a free check to his whims and fancies, and who just says that an instinct, even if it is destructive for the entire world, still I will follow only my instinct. He is as much in the ego trap. So both these people, have, but this person who has an organic sense of discipline, you cannot put him into any category. Some days you will find him disciplined, and some days you will find him spontaneous. There's no way you can create a category. Categories can only be created for egos. So that is this first attribute that I want you to understand. And these are attributes that are basically, they come from the chakras. So I'm going in that order. So this was organic self-discipline is a Manipur chakra. Until then the ego was active. Now the ego is getting a little bit, when you are in the Swadhisthana, the first and second chakra, you are badly caught in the ego trap. As you move on to Manipur, you have relaxed the ego a little bit and you have moved to organic discipline. As you move a little higher, you move to what I call intentional love. Okay, what is this intentional love all about? See, the love of the lover, or the love to some extent even of a parent, to a lesser extent though, was egoic love. Why? Because it originated from it. There was fusion and then there was separation. In fusion there was like तेरे लिए वो सातों जहां के मैं चांद तोड़ के लाऊंगा, और in separation it is like तेरा ये चेहरे वाला चांद भी बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रहा है. So both these extremes, that is the play of the ego, always moving on, stretching in all the directions. Whereas intentional love, what is, nobody, generally people don't get this point and they feel that it is wrong, but I'll tell you what is intentional love. A love which is an act of decision. A love which is not the feeling of love, a love which is an act of decision. And that is why a person who is naturally loving can also become a person who is a natural hater. A person who is naturally appreciative highly celebrative of you, will be the first person to tear you apart the day you make a mistake also, if you have observed. So people who are gung ho about you are the best, you are great, the same person तुमको ऊपर से नीचे उतने ही इंटेंसिटी के साथ उतारेगा, सो ये जो नेचुरल लव और नेचुरल अप्रिसिएशन और ये नेचुरल फ्लो वाला जो तुम्हारा फीलिंग्स है, उसका एग्जैक्ट अपोजिट डायमेंशन वही बंदा तुमको दिखाएगा, बिकॉज इट इज स्टिल कमिंग फ्रॉम द स्पेस ऑफ फीलिंग्स, and the space of feelings is not yet that noble a space, but the space of intention, the intentional love. What is intentional love? Intentional love is, I am not yet there even in intentional love, though I am there quite often, but not always there. I keep coming back to feeling love. What do I mean? There have been occasions when if I am very, very badly triggered, I choose to cut off. Now a person who is coming from feeling love will only cut off. There is an instance in the life of Gandhiji wherein, at the Ahmedabad ashram, Sabarmati ashram, they brought in a thief. And everybody said, this guy has been robbing this ashram for 4 years, This guy just can't be here. So Gandhiji replied, then this is the last person who should be let out in the world. He should rather be in the ashram, because here he can do less tamasha. If he is let out in the world, he can do far greater tamasha. So his love was not tied in to the feeling of love or hate. It was not saying that, because you have broken a rule, now my feeling of love has become a feeling of a papi or a feeling of hate, and that's why I give up on you, or my people are putting so much pressure on me, so I give up on you. No, there was no such feeling of love or a feeling of opposite feeling of hate. When there is a feeling of love, even for your child, if you are only feeling love, now one day you're going to feel hate. The day your child is going to, you feel that the child can only wear a certain kind of clothes or only go to these kind of parties, the day that is violated, the feeling of love becomes the feeling of hate. Feelings are not trustworthy enough, but intentions. Say you have a stand of love. You say that no matter what my child does, I choose to love. This is not a feeling. This is a decision of love. This decision of love. This is where a person who is caught up in the ego is always busy, either moving to this extreme of feeling love or feeling hate. But a person who has gone beyond the ego, he takes a stand of love. Only this person has the right to say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Because no matter, even if an Osama bin Laden comes in front of him, he is not going to refrain from smiling and loving and hugging and blessing, and at the same time not refrain from taking him to task if required, but everything from a space of love. So you move to the domain of intentional love instead of feeling love, and then the third is, as you go higher up, so from anahata, you moved in anahata, you move to the intention of love, the Kshatriya space. And then when you reach here, the Vishuddhi space, that's when you have the Brahmana quality, which is you move into the dimension of relational responsibility. See, what is our, in relationships, what is our current thing? Either we are associated, so we are indulging in them and saying my child, my partner, my parents, and I love them, and I love them more than anybody else, and I remember the anniversaries and the birthdays and all of this, and I have a great time only with my family. Or the other one is dissociation, which says family is a trap, and then the child always gives pain, or the partner always gives pain, or the parent is always imposing, and that's why it's good to keep some distance, and I'm just going to get wet, but then I'm always going to wear a raincoat, and I will not feel enough, and I'll not get hurt, and all of that. So on one hand, we are either indulging in our relationships, or on the other hand, we are denying the relationships. This is the egoic movement. This is how the ego operates. Either goes to this extreme or this extreme. The pendulum is always moving. It is never out there still. But a person who is in relational responsibility, what will he say? He will say that I will neither indulge in this, nor will I deny this. I will neither run away from my family, nor will I gravitate towards my family in a stupid manner. I will remain related to it. And he will have a similar take even in pleasure. I will not run away from tasty food, nor will I indulge in tasty food. Not. See, if you say that the spiritual guy has to not take tasty food, that is equally big trap. And the material guy who is just having one dish after another, equally big trap. But this guy knows where to start and where to stop. He's neither in this trap nor in that trap. He is neither running away like a Shiva nor overindulging like a Shakti. So Shiva Shakti is the only truth which is beyond the ego, because both is just a polarity. So coming into relationships from this space is precisely the sense of responsibility, because now and this is this relationship moves to the domain of participation. The former one you saw was association or dissociation. This is different. This is participation. I am with you, but at the same time, I am not crazy about it and I am fused, or at the same time, I am not denying it and running away. I am there. I am there to enjoy. I am there to also take a step back. I am there to provide for, and I am there to laugh with. I am there for everything. I am just available. And I am neither getting carried away to this extreme nor getting carried away to that extreme. So once and transcending the ego is a moment by moment thing. Okay, so it's not that someday you will transcend the ego. Even for now, if you transcend, then for that long you are in a space of, as somebody put it earlier, detached attachment, detached love, or you are in a space of relational responsibility, or you are in a space of intentional love rather than the feeling which always keeps moving from love to hate to love to hate to love to hate. So, and you are not a pleasure seeker, nor you are a pain avoider. You are with the thing all the time.